What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you what is, in my opinion, the three best builds in the game right now. One for Hunter, one for Titan, and one for Warlock for Grandmaster Nightfalls that launched later today. I'm also going to be going over the weapons and the full build I use, including the mods and the subclass trees. If you guys do enjoy videos like this, please remember to drop a like and subscribe. Also, only 1.5% of you guys that watch my videos are subscribed, so if you guys want to help me sway that percentage in the other direction a little bit, I'd greatly appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so firstly, let's go over the weapons really quick. These aren't really going to change from character to character, so that's why I'm going to do them first. I'm going to be using the Navigator on every single character. This is the best weapon in the game, and it isn't even close. If you have this, you're definitely going to want to be using it, and if you don't have it, go get it. So for our secondary, we're going to be either using the Nog Hunger for anti-barrier, or the Nation of Beasts for unstoppable. Those are just the hand cannon auto rifle that I prefer. And then for my heavy, I have the circular logic on. This will change based on the surges. I'm just have it on right now to stack strand surges with my trace rifle. So if we go over to the mod customization here, we can see that I am using double heavy ammo finder. I got heavy handed, firepower, fastball, using double resistance. Just whatever the Nightfall enemies are shooting the most, you stack that, and then you have a concussive dampener. Got my double surges. You can use scavengers or holsters if you prefer. I just like having the extra weapon damage, and because of that, I'm using time dilation. And then I have double bomber to go well with the build I'm using. Now let's go over the build. We are using the Assassin's Cowl. This is going to involve a melee build, which typically wouldn't be very ideal for a Grandmaster, but with the amount of artifact mods we have this season surrounding Arc and just having the Navigator for survivability, melee is going to be perfectly fine here. The Assassin's Cowl just adds to our survivability. By when we get a melee kill, we go invisible and get our health back and shields. Yeah, so I'm using 100 resilience, 90 recovery, 100 discipline. Now you might think it's kind of weird that we're not using mobility on a Hunter, but you'll see why when I get into the subclass. So let's go over the subclass. I'm using Gathering Storm. Arcstaff did get buffed this season, but I just like having an instant damage super. We're using Gambling Dodge. This is why we are not using mobility, because dodging your enemies fully recharges your melee ability, as well as our melee. Defeating targets with this fully refills your class ability energy and heals you. So you dodge, melee, dodge, melee, dodge, melee, infinite loop. You have your abilities all the time, so you don't need to spec into those stats. I use Triple Jump, it's just preference. Use Pulse Grenade. I think this is the best grenade unless you're using Touch of Thunder on a Titan. We're using Flow State and Lethal Current. We got Spark of Resistance, Volts, Magnitude, and Feedback. So this is, in my opinion, the best Hunter build this season for GM Nightfalls. Let's get into Warlock. So Warlock does have a few really good options. If you're not using the Navigator, I would recommend Phoenix Protocol, but if you are using the Navigator because it is the best gun in the game, you're going to want to be using the Cenotaph Mask. So what this does is steadily reloads a portion of your equipped trace rifle's magazine from reserves, and damaging a vehicle, boss, or champion with a trace rifle matching your subclass. This is why we're only using this if we are using the Navigator. We're going to be using Strand. It marks it as a priority target. If an ally delivers the final blow, it drops heavy ammo. So this is just a super good support and to make GMs go by faster because your teammates will always have heavy ammo. If we go over to the mods here, you'll see very similar to Hunter. Double ammo finder, like fastball, heavy-handed, double arc resist. You want to have a concussive here as well. Double surge, reaper, and double bomber. For strand, you're going to want to spec into resil, recovery, and discipline. If you are playing Phoenix Protocol, maybe you want to spec into a little bit more strength, but I just prefer having these three options. I think these are the best stats anyways for pretty much all the characters, except for Hunter. Sometimes you want mobility, but not in this case. Now I'm going to go over the subclass quickly. Just one super, the Needle Storm, Healing Rift, Burst Glide, Arcane, and Shackle Grenade. So Shackle Grenade is probably the most broken grenade in the game. Stops all three champions. The only one it doesn't technically stop is Overload, because it doesn't stop their health regen, but that's what we have a trace rifle for. This will suspend, so barriers can't put up their barriers, and it just flat out stuns on stops. For the aspects, we're going to be using Weaver's Call and Mindspun Invocation. These are the ones that launched the subclass. I don't think the Wanderer is very good. And for the fragments, we're going to be using Ascent to reload our weapon when we throw a grenade. Finality, continuity to make our suspend last longer, and generation. Yep, this is the Warlock build I will be taking into GMs. This is probably the strongest one in the game. This is probably going to be the class I'm playing first. And let's get lastly into Titan. Now, lastly, let's go over Titan. So the guns are the exact same. You guys know the drill. But we are going to be using Heart of Inmost Light. This is a build that everybody's probably familiar with. Just ability spamming. And because of the power of the Arc artifact this season, we're going to be using it on Striker Titan. If we go over the mods here, very similar to all the other classes. We got our Finders, Firepower, and Kickstart. This is because we're just going to be spamming nades. We get our double resist and dampener. For splash damage, we have our surges, and we are using one-time dilation and double bomber. Now, everyone's probably familiar with this build already. You just, with the chestplate, it gives you crazy ability energy. So you just nade, thruster, melee, nade, thruster, melee. Just an infinite loop of abilities. I have Fist of Havoc on. Thunder Crash probably better, but Fist of Havoc got buffed this season, so I do want to try it out. We're going to be using Thruster to give us that empowered abilities a lot faster. Catapult Lift, Thunderclap, Storm Grenades. Storm Grenades are the best if you're using Touch of Thunder, in my opinion. And we're going to have Knockout. And in terms of fragments, we're going to go with Feedback, Volts, Shock, and Magnitude. So, yep, those are going to be the 3 builds I'm running for GMs this season, the 3 that I think are the most powerful. If there are any other builds that you guys think are worthy of being the best, let me know down in the comments. I'll make sure to make a video on those and check them out. And other than that, I will see you guys next time.